welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. My name is Salva and today I forgot the name of the tag. Hello and welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. My name is Salva and today I'm going to be doing the Joy of Christmas book tag. This was created by Novels and Nonsense. I'm going to leave a link down below to her original video, and I found this video through A Clockwork Reader, so I'm going to link her video down as well. This is a pretty short tag, only 8 questions, and they're all Christmas themed, and I love the theme of the questions, so I'm just going to go and start answering questions because it's stupid if I keep talking to you and not actually doing the tag. Question number 1. Anticipation. The Christmas excitement is real. What book releases are you most anticipating? I feel like this is such a great question for a year-end tag because 2019 has a ton of books that I'm excited about. Top 3 books that I'm super excited for in 2019. First book is obviously Leigh Bardugo's King of Scars, which is her follow-up to her original Grisha trilogy, and this time it's going to focus on Nikolai. The next 2 books I am super excited about for the year of 2019 are Filipino Authors. The first one is a middle grade novel by Gail D. Villanueva, and it's called My Fate According to the Butterfly. I saw her speak about 3 or 4 months ago at a panel during the Manila International Book Fair. I am just so excited for this novel. I cannot wait. The second book I'm excited for, and I'm sure a lot of Filipino readers are excited for, is Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Ribay. Both Gail and Randy's books tackle what it's like to grow up or be a young adult or a kid during our current president's regime. I'm really excited to read how they're gonna plan it out, if they're gonna tiptoe around it or just blatantly call issues out. It's exciting and it's scary, but I think it's groundbreaking. Both books are going to be published internationally, by the way. So these are current Filipino issues that need to be talked about, put in literary form, not just for the country but for the entire global audience. I am just so flippin' excited to see what happens this year with those 2 books. That is crazy and I am so excited. The second question is Christmas songs and carols. What book or author can you not help but sing its praises? I'm already laughing. You guys know what I'm going to answer with this. I try not to repeat answers. I just did a book tag. Look at it. I'm already waving it around. I try not to annoy you guys with this. I mean, what am I gonna do? Lie? Okay, I cannot help but sing the praises of Tamora Pierce and all her Tortal books, okay? Like, we all know that was the answer I was gonna give. This is the answer I'm always gonna give. Why do I love it? Flippin' iconic characters. Check. Sometimes you don't need a love story. Check. Excellent world building in a fantasy world. Check. Diverse characters in terms of race and sexuality and gender. Check. Cited by many current YA authors as their inspiration for getting into fantasy. Check. A person from Czechoslovakia is a check. Did anybody else watch Cat in the Hat? Because that was my favorite joke. Anyways, that is my one Christmas gift. If everyone could just read Tamora Pierce's books, there would be peace on earth. The next question is Gingerbread Houses. What book or series has wonderful world building? I want to give a shout out to The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This series, The Lunar Chronicles, it's a bunch of fairy tale retellings, but instead of setting it in contemporary times or say in a fantasy realm, this takes place in the not too distant future. New republics and new commonwealths and new kingdoms have formed, and I believe there are only 8 technical nations left on Earth. There's also a colony on the moon now, people called the Lunars, and they're given a special magical or scientific advantage, something in their biological makeup that makes them more than human. I really love how she built this world. I think I mentioned this in another review where it's futuristic enough to make you go whoa, but it's not set too much into the future that there's a disconnect between you and the characters. They're still very relatable, because sometimes, I don't know, with books I feel that are set way into the future, you can relate to them about this much. I really like how she was able to merge all her fairy tales together. Number 4 is A Christmas Carol. Favorite classic or one that you want to read? My favorite classic would be 1984 by George Orwell. And you guys know, like, grade school, high school, you're given books to do book reports on, and most of the time, 90% of the time, you don't want to be reading the book. I hate being told what to read, which is why people always ask me, like, oh, why didn't you go into English or take literature? Because I don't like being told what to read. I read what I want when I want. Like, don't give me a reading list and then tell me to read it, you know? But this was one of the rare books that I was forced to read in high school, and I really did enjoy. It surprised me how much I enjoyed it. I thought that it was going to be stodgy and boring, and I feel like reading this book gives me a lot of street cred when I read a lot of current dystopian books, because I'm like, ah, yes, that is similar to George Orwell's 1984, and I would know because I read it, and I'm cool like that because I am cultured. Next question is Christmas sweets. What book would you love to receive for Christmas? This is in fact on my Christmas list to my parents. So parents, if you're watching this, know that this is the one I would like most of all. It would be the illustrated version of Edith Hamilton's mythology. As far as I've heard, as far as I know, Edith Hamilton's mythology is sort of the be-all, end-all of mythology guides. I've skimmed this, but I've never given it a cover-to-cover read, and then I found out that there was going to be an illustrated edition release, and it's available here in the Philippines. So I think of all the books I would love to get for Christmas, that would be the one. The next question is Candles in the Window. What book gives you a warm fuzzy feeling? It would be The Fairy Path by Freeman Jones. The story is your typical, she's your average mortal 16-year-old girl who travels to a magical place, and she finds out that she is not Anita, but she is Tanya, and she is the long lost princess of fairy. And then she finds out that ever since she disappeared, the land of fairy has been trapped in a time warp where nobody has aged and nothing has progressed. They are all slowly wilting away and dying. And so it takes us through her journey over the course of 6 books. This is one of those books that I remember reading on the weekends in high school. We would go up to Tagaytay. For those who aren't from the Philippines, it's south of Manila and it's a lot cooler. Ooh, what an apt anecdote, because it's freaking, I'm sweating buckets here in Manila. So Tagaytay is sort of the nearest cool weather place you can get to if you're from Manila. I remember reading the series. Ah, yes, it's nice cool weather and the wind, and you're reading by a garden, and you're reading a book about magical fairy kingdom. Short segue, not that this matters, but one of my very first published recommendations, and I was all of 13 years old, but I joined this like junior book crew summer camp thing, and at the end of the year they were like, oh, okay, so recommend us your favorite book and tell us why, and we'll publish them in our like annual newsletter or something. So this was the book I recommended at 13, and so it's my first recommended, guys, so it does give me that warm fuzzy feeling, obviously. The second to the last question is Christmas trees and decorations. What are some of your favorite book covers? Shouldn't have said some of your favorite book covers, because I'm gonna come at you with a lot of book covers. If you had asked me to give one, I could have chosen, but since it's plural, I'm gonna give you a butt ton of covers. Let's start with The Lux by Anna Godbersen, and look! Pretty gowns that fold out into the back. Another set of covers that I really love are the covers for the Fallen Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. The next book I want to show off is a middle grade gothic novel, and it is A Curious Tale of the In-Between by Lauren DeStefano. Girl on the lake, girl looking in the reflection, but there's a figure behind her. Another historical fiction cover that I love is The Sisters of Versailles by Sally Christie. I just love how basic and Pinteresty this cover is. Sorry if this cover part is taking too long, but I honestly genuinely like looking at covers, and I hope you guys do too. Next cover I love is Goddess from the Star-Crossed Trilogy by Josephine Angelini. I mean, these are two of my favorite colors. It's a bit holographic. I don't know how well it plays out on camera, but I'm just gonna keep waving it until you see how cool it is. Last covers would be the Prophecy series by Ellen O. It's very clean but intricate at the same time. Like boom, crown, king, jeweled background, boom, sword, title, bejeweled background, boom. They're pretty iconic covers. So that's it for the covers. We're done. I have no more covers to throw at you. Well, I would if I had more time, but I don't, so I won't. And the last question is number 8, Christmas joy. What are some of your favorite things about Christmas and or some of your favorite Christmas memories? I and every other Filipino out there love Christmas. There's this running joke that the Philippines start celebrating Christmas in September. I love the entire atmosphere our country has around the holidays. Like every year my parents ask me and my brother, like, maybe we can travel this year, we can spend Christmas somewhere else, and I'm like, nope, putting my foot down. There's no other place to celebrate Christmas in my opinion other than the Philippines. Some of my Christmas memories, I remember being really annoyed as a kid. My mom's side would come over and they'd all spend the night, or 2 nights or 3 nights. I would always get mad at my mom because my brother would get to keep his room, but I would have to give my room up for relatives, and I would have to sleep on like an air mattress in my parents' room. So I was like, why do I have to give up my room? Like, why does Kuya get to keep his room every single year and I have to spend Christmas on an air mattress? Thankfully we don't do that anymore. Probably another good Christmas memory I have would be the Christmas Eve Mass, especially in our village. We don't live in that village anymore, but we still go there for service sometimes. So especially on Christmas Eve, it's nice to see like all these familiar faces of people you grew up with. Oh, Oh, okay. Why are all my Christmas memories so sad? Back when we used to fly to Cebu to spend it with my dad's side of the family, I was probably 8 years old because I had already received my first communion and I had fallen asleep during Christmas Eve Mass. So my dad was like, well, you've already received your first communion, you have to go to a Christmas service. So while my cousins were all having fun on Christmas Day, I had to trek it to the church and hear Christmas Mass. To an 8-year-old, that's like, they get to play games and I have to go to Mass and like not fall asleep. I don't know about you, but there's a certain, like, I don't know, brightness to a Christmas day. Everything seems a lot brighter to me. The sun shines brighter. What a cheesy line. But it does. There's a certain, like, something in the air for me, and I think that's what I look forward to mostly every Christmas. Those are a few of my favorite Christmas memories and a few of the things I love about Christmas. And that about does it for my Joy of Christmas book tag. I'm going to follow in the creator's footsteps. She tagged everyone, and I'm going to do the same. I know a lot of people are doing Bookmas or Vlogmas, and if you need more content, I would love to see you guys do this tag. You can follow me on my other bookish adventures on Twitter at Cuckoo for Books and on Instagram at Cuckoo for Books also, and at Salva Villarasa. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye guys, and Merry Christmas!